Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched my videos, everybody who has liked, everybody who has commented, and oh my God, I hope you guys enjoyed all the series on my YouTube about my life. You have 8 episodes. If you haven't watched it, if you want to get to know Krina Styla, please go there and watch. I promised you I'm going to have a podcast, and guys, how isn't it so nice that I'm going to start with my best friend? She's here. Everybody wanted to know who Peace is, so she's here. I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. So I want her to introduce herself. Hi, girl.
Hi. Hello. My name is Peace, as you all know. And I'm very excited to be here.
She is nervous, but she's going to get used to it, you know. Feel my friend, she's nervous on the camera. You're going to forgive us. So anyway, I really, guys, it took me some convincing for this girl to come and sit on this table.
Indeed.
I told her, since you're my best friend, I have to start from somewhere. She's like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, no, you have to come by force, by fire. If not, we are getting divorced.
Yeah, absolutely. No, because I thought maybe I wasn't that interesting.
It's not about being interesting.
Yeah.
It's just about support.
Yeah, but you know me, I think too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to tell her not to think too much. There's a couple of questions. When I moved here, going back to my stories, when I moved here, I always just wanted to ask my friend, like, why did you contact me the first time when I moved here? Because it hadn't even been a week, I think. It had been just a few days.
Yeah,
And I didn't know who you are. And then someone is asking me like, hi, how are you? So what made you do that?
Okay, do you want the long story or the short version?
Let's do the short version. The long one will take 1 hour.
Okay, so before she moved to Sweden, I have mutual friends with her. I have a couple of friends living in Uganda, and they used to hang out together. So they would post pictures on Facebook, and somehow that's how I started to follow her. And for some reason, she used to look very tiny, and I don't know if I felt somehow sorry or what.
I think you did feel sorry for me.
Because you actually looked very, very young. You looked like a baby having a baby.
I swear, if I looked
yes,
at myself those days, I
Yes.
would feel sorry for myself too.
Yeah, so in Uganda, you looked very tiny. And then suddenly I saw you move to Sweden. And of course, I had already been in Sweden, in Denmark for a couple of years. And they usually say, when you come to Europe, the first 1 and 2 years are the hardest years. If you survive those years, then you could survive the other years. And then the other thing, before I moved here, one of my friends gave me the telephone number of another friend and said, when you reach there, Europe can get very lonely. You might need somebody to talk to. So for me, once I saw she had just moved, I kind of just felt for her. Based on what I had already experienced.
It's like when I see these women moving around with white men, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So for me, because the first 1 year when I moved here was really, really tough. I used to cry. I missed the social life at home. I missed the food. I missed the weather. So when I saw you, I kind of just felt, let me reach out. You never know. You never know. She could also be missing the social life. She could need somebody just to have a conversation with, or somebody to just guide her around and show her the ins and outs.
So you didn't feel sorry for me like these other people who I'm always feeling sorry for? I'm like, can I save her? Like, can I just tell her a secret or something?
No, I don't know if I don't think I looked at you from a savior's perspective.
Thank God.
You know, for me, it was more of having somebody that could lend an ear. If you had something, you had questions, or something was bothering you, something you didn't understand, and you needed an answer to it. Yeah. So I kind of just felt like, okay, I've already been here. I know a little bit more than you. I could be of a little help.
Yeah. You just said before, like, they said, like, if you come to Europe, the first 3 years are very hard.
Yeah, the first 3 years.
So what are the main things that are really, really hard in these first 3 years? Like, what was your hardest thing that you went through when you came?
Number one for me is the weather.
Okay, that's
I arrived during winter, coming from the hot sun of Uganda. And by the way, when I arrived, it was October.
Okay.
It was still not that very cold, but for me, that was like, oh my God. So the number one, adjusting to the weather.
That was like the worst.
That was the worst because you now, suddenly you need to learn how to dress up, the heavy shoes, the
True.
socks. You need to learn how to layer, you know. For some of us, when we first came, it's just like, okay, whatever, you have a shirt, and then you just throw it on the jacket. But then you find out very fast that that's not enough. You need to layer. You need to layer from your feet
You have to
to
wear
your
leggings.
body to the head.
You have to wear leggings.
Yeah.
You have to wear jeans.
Yeah.
You have to wear socks.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, you really have to layer. That's true.
Yes. So number one, the weather for me. And then number two, the food. For some reason, for me, the food tasted like pepper. I could not taste anything. No matter how much I spiced the food.
The food is terrible up to now. It doesn't taste of anything.
I think now for me with time, I've gotten used to the food. But in the beginning, I promised you guys the chicken, the meat. I could not differentiate between the taste of chicken, the taste of meat, the taste, like everything tasted for me just like paper.
Whoa.
So food was really, really, really
A bad
difficult. That was a challenge. So I remember in the beginning, the thing I ate most now was cabbage, because that was the closest to home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did the cabbage have taste? Because I don't like cabbage. It gives me bad stomach.
The taste of cabbage was better, vegetables.
Wow.
The taste was a little bit
Wow.
better.
And the third thing?
And the third thing, my God, the social life. I missed the social life. Because in Europe, life is each one to themselves, you know? People don't appreciate you knocking up at their doors or showing up without an invitation. It's
I
like
know,
you're
right?
disturbing their peace.
I learned the hard way.
I remember when you called me, I was like, girl, you're crazy. What are you doing? Why are you knocking at people's doors?
Exactly. Like, how could I know?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I just went,
that was the craziest thing from her. She
How
called
can
me that she's not. I'm like, what? Why? They're about to call the police on you. How are you going to explain? Like, why are you knocking at people's doors?
wow.
What would you have said?
I think I would have been shocked. I think I would be like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I just knocked on the door. I think they would. By the way, I never thought about what I would have said if the police came.
Exactly. Because you're intruding on people's privacy, you're disturbing
How is
people's
that
peace.
intruding?
It is. You moved from your house to somebody
Okay.
else's door. You've not been invited. What are you doing there?
So, if something happened to you
Yeah,
and you needed help,
yeah.
you're not allowed to like.
You
go to
dial
your-
911. You call the police. You
In
have
Sweden is not, in
you call-
Denmark is 122, right?
Yes, whatever it
112.
is, but at least you have telephone numbers, where emergency telephone numbers where you can contact for help. You can call the comuna, you can call the hospital, you can call the police, you know.
You know, I have this thing that I have up to now, even after 12 years of being here.
Yeah.
Like when you go, example, in the elevator, and nobody wants to say hello to you. One day I uttered it out loud. I say, if someone gets a heart attack here, I'm not even going to help. Even though you're there like, my phone.
What was their reaction?
They're all like, no, because it still annoys me up to now. Like
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
squeezed in an elevator.
Yeah.
Let's just say hello.
Say
Maybe
hello.
you might have a heart attack.
No, everybody minds their business here.
But what if you have a heart attack and you didn't say hello to me?
You call
I'm
the
not going
ambulance
to. No,
come.
I am not going to call because first of all, you ignored me by not saying hello to me.
Yeah, but it is the culture here. It is what it
True.
is.
So, if I got a heart attack and I didn't say hello to somebody,
They will still call for help for you. Because, you know, this is a society built on a different social welfare. The government takes care of its people, while for us, we come from a culture where we take care of each other.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, so that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
And actually, I miss the way we take care of each other back home, you know? I miss just getting up abruptly and knocking at your friend's door or somebody and saying, I'm going to visit so-and-so, and
Yeah.
it's okay. Here, even your own siblings, your own relatives, even in the dating world, you have to make appointments 1 month in advance, 2 months in advance, you know.
Wow. So the three things that you said, like, did you meet like any other challenges that were really, really hard for you? That did you ever get that feeling like, oh my God, I just want to go back home now? Or you
Yeah.
just got used to the place somehow and say it's okay now? Or?
No, no, no. The first 1 to 2 years, obviously, that was hard. Some days I wanted to go back home, you know. And I think the hardest, like, you've come here, it's just you and your child, you're locked in this small apartment, not so much interaction with the outside world. And if you want an interaction with the outside world, you just take a walk. And it is just, you are just alone amidst people because you're not saying hello.
So I want to ask, after this many years with
Yeah.
you going to school, acquiring your degrees, masters, you know, hasn't it been so hard to try to like get a job since you're in the like the same level as the, no, actually let me take it back. How is it studying here and getting, you know, to be able to work in a Danish company if you come from like outside and then you're here, since you've been educated and you've been here many years?
Yeah. Okay, I'll try to make it quick. You know,
Yes.
I always have a longer story.
Yes, 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 you have a
But
Bible.
number one, coming to study here was such a challenge.
Yeah.
Number one, they have a different system of education. And me, I went to Roskilde University, so they have a problem-oriented system of education, different from the banking system of education in Uganda, where you cram and reproduce what the teachers have given you. If you do that, you're penalized and you're dismissed from the university. So they have a different scientific way of writing, very critical analysis, and all those things. So that was very challenging. The second part, I'll start by saying, when you move here,
Yeah.
if you want to take up an education, take that education. Don't be discouraged. The truth is, as somebody who is not a Dane coming in, you're speaking English. If you don't learn the language, no matter how educated you are, sometimes they're going to push you as the last person in the line. They'll consider the Danish people first, which is very natural. But with time, take the education, learn the language, try to integrate, and as Krina has always said, take up the internship. Any opportunity that comes for internship, take it up, because that's an opportunity for you to showcase your skills. It might take a while, education doesn't rot, but eventually you will get there. I must tell my truth. When I came for the many, many years, and that's how I paid school fees for my siblings and building mom's house, I cleaned. Guys, I cleaned for more than 7 years, more than 8 years I was cleaning.
Someone with a master's,
You know?
you guys be there.
Yeah.
Showing.
Yeah, I did a lot of cleaning. Actually, my job, so I have been in this country for 16 years. Professionally, I've only worked for 3 years.
Out of the 16 guys.
Yes, out of the 16 years.
13.
Yeah,
That's why they said never give up.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Yeah.
You know, they have this thing like when, after 13 years, of course, we would believe, like if I came and you told me, Krina, you'll only get a cleaning job. You know, you'll only, look, I have masters. I've been here 13 years. I'm still working as a cleaner. I would believe you. And never give up.
Never give up. But also the other thing we need to add is, sometimes everyone's story is also different. There are people who are lucky, they come, they find English-speaking jobs, especially like in the big cities, in Copenhagen, I live in Denmark, you live in Sweden, the big cities, sometimes they have all these NGOs, the UN and all that. They need people who speak English. So there are people who are lucky to get a job. But some of us are balancing with kids and other responsibilities, and then we needed the quick money to send home. The black tax, we need to take care of people back home. But overall, it's doable. But you have to be very, very patient and be okay with some of these jobs that Otherwise, if you were back home, you'd never do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other question is, now, by the way, my bestie is a mother of 4. She's successful. She's
Yeah,
everything.
successful.
And we want her to tell us how she overcame all these things. And at the end, she managed to be where she is now. Because, guys, 16 years is not an easy thing. Some people go, have you seen these, our sisters, they're walking in the streets like they're, you know, like they forget themselves. They
Yeah.
don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They are just there. They are just done with life.
Yeah.
Even when they go back home to Uganda,
Yeah.
you hear people saying, "Did she come from abroad? How is she dressing like?"
Yeah.
You remember, you know, like people forget themselves. But she has 4 kids. She has managed to keep herself beautiful, dressing up, everything, happy. Anyway, birds of the same feather fly.
Yeah, flock together.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually, that's what I was going to say. Your network sometimes determines what you turn out to be.
Yes.
So for me, I have an amazing friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have to say thank you. Thank you for being an amazing friend. Because this girl holds me down. You know?
And yeah, and guys, on our next episode, because these are going to be 2 episodes,
Yeah.
Peace is going to tell us
Yeah.
how she managed to survive and be where she is right now. Wait for part 2. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.